Hello there. This is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me again today. We are going to be taking a good look, or a partial look so far, at the Autumn Toile Suite Collection that's coming up or available to you on September 3, which is just around the corner, like next week. And I wanted to show you what is in this suite collection. It's a large one. And I did a video last week, I think on Tuesday, or a couple of weeks ago, showing you the fall products I picked up from the catalog. And then the week after that, I think it was online exclusives, and I did some concept art cards. So this is just a little bit more. We're going to be making something like this today. When I look at the suite collection, it just screams masculine to me. So I'm thinking birthday cards, thank you cards, make them now and, keep a good supply on hand for year round. That's what I'm gonna do. And this is like a great way to use it, with this sketch, to use up your designer series paper and ribbon and everything like that. So first of all, you get this ribbon, and it's not hard to work with, but I'm gonna say it's not easy either. It is kind of stiff. And this is, what is it? Irregular weave trim. And I know I'm going to put a bow on our card, so might as well do that now. Because that way you can see, it's pliable, it's doable, but it's just, there's like a wax coating on it a little bit, and that makes it difficult to work with. I think that this is like a really good scrapbooking ribbon, but it's still pretty cool though. And as you know, I cannot do bows on screen, and that's not gonna work. I'll tie it later. So we have that. So much for trying to kill two birds with one stone, right? Then we have these, it looks streak dots. They look early espresso, but you can see they're kind of modeled a little bit in there. And then we get two stamp sets. They are both cling mount. And on Tuesday's video, like I mentioned, sign up for my newsletter. We're going to be discontinuing the clean mount stamps, which are these, the rubber stamps, along with the Stampin' markers, because we mainly use those these days to color on these images, but to color, it's the Stampin' lens. So you get these two stamp sets, which are just gorgeous. I love the line art over here, and on all of it, to tell you the truth. Then, I'm gonna need them. Each has a coordinating die cuts. Like down here, you get like a great ridge, trees, layering die cuts. All the solid ones are generally standalone, or they fit in something. This is definitely standalone. But we also have the deer though too, and that is in Autumn Trees. And then a designer series paper. The colors with that are Cajun Craze, Early Espresso, Gray Granite, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, and Very Vanilla. And then you get like these earthen toned metallic sheets, which we'll be using today. And you get 3 of them. The video I did a couple weeks ago was before I hacked, not hacked it up, before I started digging into it and using it. So 3 sheets of designer series paper are the same thing. And so there is that, the Cajun Craze and Early Espresso, and that's the back side. So that's our gray granite. And then the flip side of that, the little pumpkin field there. Then we have, and there's an embossing folder just like this that comes in, I believe, online exclusives that looks just like this piece of paper here. And then on the flip side, we just, more scenery and whatnot. Like I said, super masculine. Okay, so for this one here, we have these two, and then this is the flip side behind that. And we're using this today, or are we? Yeah, we are. Because I did the pumpkins for this card. I'm going to set this aside real quick, and then we will go ahead and get started. Okay, I am back now, and got our materials out. We are going to be, our card base is going to be A2 top folding, and that's 4 1/4 by 11 down, and then you score it at 5 1/2. And then I am going to give that a nice, good score. And then we want a piece of basic or very vanilla cardstock. And you want to cut that down to 3 3/4 by 5. This is going to be our designer series paper, you know, because we're doing this card, all right? And I will cut that down for you in person. This is going to be scratch paper, so we can do our sentiment. I'll put that right there. We have our ribbon. And then we are bringing in this earthen toned, you know, that foil paper there. So first, let's go ahead and, you know, get everything out of the way here and cut down this designer series paper and this here. So for the DSP, you want it going, let's see. This is going to be, watch your orientation. You want this to be 2 1/2, which it is. So 2 1/2, doesn't matter this way, but you want it to be at least 4. And you can see how everything lines up here, and you want to do the same thing here. So watch how you're cutting. This, I want to hit this side more than anything else, so I'm going to start over on the left. And so you want to cut 3 of these, okay, at 1 1/8. And that mark is in between the inch mark and the quarter mark. But I'm going to do it over here because I want an 1/8 and I can see. Because this paper is just a little bit more busier, which is what I want. So I've got 1. I'm going to do another one, a 1 1/8. And this way they all line up too. And that's why I say watch your orientation. And pick the side that you know you want. So that is it for that, and it's going to line up beautifully. And then for our bottom piece, we want to cut this to 3 1/2 by 2 1/4. I'm going to do the 2 1/4 side first, because that way I'm not I'm saving paper. Then I'm going to flip that around and do 3 1/2. And then I am done. So let's go ahead and get this, the image panel assembled. This is, like I said, just such a super, super, super easy card. I'm going to grab my snail adhesive there. I'm going to turn this around. Okay, I had a peek to see if you could see. And with the back of our foil paper, it can be fussy sometimes. So I like to get that adhered down really well. And I'm looking about right, you know, so I have like a 1/4 inch margins all the way around. I'm eyeballing it, so I think I'm good. So these are going to go right over here. This is the middle piece, and this is the end piece. I want to lay down both, I think I'm probably out of adhesive, both end pieces first. And you can glue these down too. Whoa. That happens a lot during my videos, huh? Okay, and we want this, you want to line up your right margin there. Over on the right, and then at the top too, so it matches. And then we're good. So I did the right side first, and now I'm going to do the left side, and then squeeze the middle in that. Get that off there. And again, okay, making sure you can see. If you're getting a headshot, I apologize, but you know, it might not happen though. At least I'm having a decent hair day, right? Okay, I want to get that down. You know what? I think it was like a little bit further down. I'm going to go with it because I don't want to risk pulling up my cardstock. So last one is going to be the middle one, and I am out. Luckily, I prep for this. It's this simple to change your adhesive. Just pop it in there. And pop that back on. You want to get it started. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to pop that right down in the middle there. But there's enough room to where you're going to have like a little bit of a margin. But see how that all just lines up great, and it's really pretty. So the next thing I want to do is we're going to put this back on. And I'm kind of taking like, hey, I can see through the sun. Okay, cool. If I hold it up. So, awesome. Right here. Just to get that on the back. And see, this is why I use my tape. But at least I was able to get the right place with that. So now I'm going to bring my tape back in. And then get that down, get another piece ready. Oh man, see, I hate it when this happens. I was just off a teeny tiny bit. Okay, I gotta pull this towards me to make sure I got it. Okay, I'm good. I was off enough to, like, this is not a wing it off, you know what I mean? It was like a fix it off. Okay, great. I thought for sure that might have held it down a little bit to give me some wiggle room, but it did not. Okay, I'm good. More tape on the back, and then, you know, just cut that excess off. And I need some black Stampin' Dimensionals because this is, you know, when you flip it over like this, you don't want to see like a ton of white in there. And with the black Stampin' Dimensionals, it makes a huge difference. Okay, make sure that's right. So we're looking good so far. Let's go ahead. I just got the black dimension. There they are. And get these adhered down. And I'm using my pokey tool, which has been replaced with the Take Your Pick. And I have it. I've just had these forever, and they still work. Same thing. And I want to put Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our panel there. Make sure that's the right way. I'm centered with you guys. And just peel the back off those, and then get that laid down, you know, top to bottom, left to right, all centered. Because we do have like a 1/2 inch margin all the way around this time as opposed to a 1/4 inch like we normally do. So I am just going to eyeball this. And definitely up on the bottom there. Okay, then pop that down. Now the next thing that we want to do is I brought in that piece of, here we go, earlier special cardstock. And we are going to use this for our sentiment panel. So I want to grab in the Stamparatus. And then lay this down and pick a sentiment because you know, since these are cling mount, you have to take everything out, making sure you can see again real quick. And then anti-static powder to rub it on. Hopefully not too thick. I need to pick a sentiment. And we might as well go with something like this, and that for the inside would be like a great thank you card. So let's do Blessed to Have You in My Life. I'm bringing in the Label with Love just to make sure it'll fit and it will. It's the same thing I used with this card here. And so we are good. And I want to lay this down in the center. And I'm going to pick it up, remove the lid, because I want to make sure it's straight. And it is absolutely not straight. So you just fix it like that. And you know, honestly, this is like, we had to retire this because of a patent issue, but this is the only reason why I do not have, I have a Misty. I don't use them because our lid comes off, but the Misty lid does not come off as far as I know. And before I get in trouble, let me check real quick, just to make sure. Because I have a bunch, I have not a full-size one, but I have like these two. And does the lid come off? No, it doesn't. See, that's what really bums me out. And that's why I haven't made the change yet. Because the lid does not come off. And to me, that's a very valuable tool for that. I'm going to pop it back in. Get my Versamark. And I'm going to lay this down several times because my ink pad's a little bit dry. I go through this a lot. Get that Chucky. And yeah, I can see through it. Let me see if my other ink pad has a little bit more in it. And hopefully it will. And I have very clean Versamark pads too. I get a lot of oohs and ahs about it. Yeah, this one does have a little bit more. I definitely want to hit up the U. And when you're doing this, pay attention to what letters are like light. And that's why you see me a lot of times where I might like press down here and then pull up there because I have too much over here. But this time I don't have enough over here. And it's just, you know, dry pads. And it kind of happens with cling mount too. Okay, I'm good with that because everything looks pretty heavy. What I'm going to do now is get this cleaned up. I'm going to take it off screen and get it heat embossed with gold powder. And then I will come back and we'll punch this out together and then get the card finished up. Okay, so I got our sentiment heat embossed. And when you use your powder over that, and you want to use that because you don't want, you know, our fingers are oily. And it's going to attract powder where you don't want it. I got it embossed in gold. He said it, but you want to take a Swiffer cloth and circular motions like this and get that excess powder off. And that is all I do with that. And then if you see like a speck right there, which I didn't catch, take a paintbrush and do it, or like a super sharp end and go lightly and it'll come out. So I've got the label with Love Punch and I want to, this one's like really fussy on me for some reason. There we go. get that centered top to bottom, left to right, and I think we are okay. Get that punched out. And the next thing I want to do is add more stamped dimensionals to the back. And I'm just going to do 3 large ones. Pop that on there. We're going to get the backings off. And see how easy this card is to make. And it's a great way to use up your designer series paper. And checking if you can see, and you can. I'm going to lift this up like this because I'm not standing up right now like I normally do. And I'm going to get that down straight. Okay, we are good. And again, here's my sample card. And I went ahead and did the inside for this too. Just did some, coloring there. And you know what? That's like kind of wonky. So what I want to do, because I'm going to show you how it's kind of wonky on the side there, if you can see. I need to straighten that out. So I want to pull off the backing of a stamped dimensional. And yeah, these are really strong. And sneak it in behind here to get that laying down straight. And then on the other side too. Oh man, that is just too... I hate when that happens. Okay, there we go. I'm fine. I'm good with that. Last but not least, I want to grab, not last, but just a mini glue dot for my paper pumpkin kit. Lay that down right about there. Pull the backing out that, and yeah, you know what? I did tie that ribbon off screen. And let's just like pop that right there. We all know guys aren't into bows, but you know what? You want to use your paper up too. So I want to neaten up the end, just a little bit of that, and I am good. And now let's bring in like our embellishments. Now, since I had to remove that and pull it up, I can see where I might have like put a little nick in my foil paper there. So I'm going to grab that and put it right there to cover it up. And let's do 2 smaller ones right up about here. And again, I'm good with that in the white spot. So that is it. This is so easy to make. And like I said, great masculine cards, birthday, thank you, a gift to somebody, even a girlfriend. But I am glad that you joined me today. I hope that you liked what we did. Please leave a comment. Feel free to share, like, and subscribe to my newsletter. And I will see you again next Tuesday for another video.